Hello and welcome to Money, Money, Money. I'm Sumera Abdi. Well, the year is almost out and you know what that means? It's the time of the year to make New Year resolutions. So while you vow to get healthier, calmer, fitter, more balanced and whatnot, don't forget to also vow to get money-wise and more importantly, to actually stay that way. So to help you along in planning your financial resolutions for 2016, joining in is Harshvardhan Roongta of Roongta Securities. And also joining us this week is one of our viewers, Meghna Parekh, who's actually looking to pick Harshvardhan's brains in making her own financial resolutions. So thanks very much to both of you for joining in. But Harsh, let me begin first with what I think is the most pertinent thing when it comes to financial resolutions, because we all talk about investing all the time, but I think it's only fair that one actually begins with protection, right? So if one were to think of insurance, what would be your advice for the next year?
Well, Sumera, actually you've picked up the right point. Now in insurance, you will divide this into two parts. One would be life insurance, wherein you cover your own self in case of an unworthy incident when something happens to you. The individual needs to buy life insurance so the family gets protected. The other element, and one of the most important elements, is a hospital expenses reimbursement, so which is popularly known as Mediclaim. Because medical expenses could basically drain out a lot of finances of a family. So life insurance and Mediclaim are the two elements which one should resolve to make sure that he or she has this adequately. When I say adequately, what is important is not just having life insurance, having the right amount of insurance is also very important.
Okay, so no under-insurance and no over-insurance as well, because it's not going to serve any purpose.
Absolutely.
Okay. Meghna, what are you looking to do in 2016?
I have a loan and I'm looking to invest. So what should be my priority?
This is one of the very important questions which you need to answer. So at one instance, there is an individual who has an outstanding loan to repay. They have some kind of money, so Meghna has some money available with her right now, and now you're looking forward to invest it for your future. Well, this is one situation where we are not able to answer. The reason being, if you're looking to plan, you need to start early. The earlier you start, the better it is. At the same time, you have an outstanding loan on which you're already paying some interest. So ideally, in the Indian context, in the Indian mindset, we would like to repay our loan as fast as possible. So the priority should be to repay the loan first, and at the same time, as and when the loan gets repaid, you start with your investments as soon as possible. Now, having said this, you need to keep in mind that you create a balance between the two. If you have an X amount of money, you might not repay the entire amount as the loan amount. You could partly repay the loan and also start cultivating the habit of investing.
And this doesn't change between a good loan or a bad loan. Like if I have a home loan, I'm also getting tax benefits. So maybe I should keep some part of it ongoing.
Absolutely. Now this is when I said you need to try and draw a balance between the two. So if you have a good loan such as a housing loan, in all probability you will not be able to repay the entire amount. So what we look at is...
Don't say that. I'm hopeful of the coming year.
Yeah, but generally if you're buying a property for yourself, it's a lifelong saving that you invest in. So the loans are reasonably large in size. So we're trying to assume a situation wherein there is some part of a loan which you can repay and retain that much, the interest of which qualifies for tax deductions. So at least you can start and reduce your EMI to that extent. The amount of EMI that you reduce, you can start probably investing with that amount.
Yeah, and while you're at it, should you also look at perhaps updating nominations in your investments? Or, I mean, is that something important enough to figure in the list of resolutions?
Well, Sumera, this is actually one area which you need to make sure that you dedicate enough time towards it. We all know that there is going to be a situation wherein your assets, be it your investments, be it your bank accounts, be it your PPF accounts, your property, will need to be given to the next generation. Will need to be given to somebody else in case something happens to you. Now, how does that transfer take place? If there is an asset or an investment, it needs to be given to somebody after your demise. Now, how does the institution or organization know whom does it need to be given to? So you need to nominate, you need to make sure that you have updated the nominations, you've actually even made a will in that context. So at least the organization knows whom the money needs to be given to in your absence.
Okay, Harsh, you just said that you want to make a will. So in my house, though, I stay in a nuclear family, so I don't think I need to make any will because it's it's not that I have any issues or complications in my life. So.
Well, Meghna, what is important when you make a will? There are two aspects of making a will. The first is that you're clearly defining whom the property or the asset should go to in the event of the demise of the the owner of the property. The second element is there is a process to be followed for transferring of an asset. Now, take for instance, you have a residential property. Now, residential property, in case of the owner, the name in whom the property belongs to passes away. Who is going to transfer the property in the name of the legal heir? So there has to be a defined format. There has to be a name defined that the property needs to go to an X person. Now, this is besides the fact that only information, this is also required from the legal standpoint. If you have a will and then you get it probated in the court, then there is no way anybody else can challenge. Then there are inheritance laws which you need to be careful about, and they can sometimes complicate even a very simple nuclear family.
Yeah, you never know what is in store the next day.
I agree.
But and therefore, shouldn't tax planning also be done at the beginning of the financial year? I know it's going to be one of my resolutions for 2016 because I tend to delay it a little bit, not towards the end of the year, but a little bit. So shouldn't all people now move it to the start of the year?
Absolutely, Sumaira. If you talk about tax planning, the advantage is that when you start planning in advance, you can buy the correct product. Unlike a situation when you reach the last moment, you take what is given to you. So usually we see in corporate employees the deadline that the corporate sets, that you have to submit all the investment proofs by a particular date. You will find people running around and buying something or the other just to meet that deadline. That necessarily may not be in sync with what you should be doing. So the advantage of starting early is only this, that you can also start buying the right product which is actually required for your goals and your life plan.
And also earn interest through that financial year as opposed to just earning towards the end. And in that sense, also buy it at the beginning of the month and not middle of the end of the month. Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break on that note, but we're not done with our financial resolutions yet. We'll continue talking about all of this and a lot more, and also give you some more tips on how you can invest better in 2016. Stay tuned.